Now, from CBS 4 News, this is Facing South Florida with Jim DeFede.
Good morning, I'm Jim DeFede, and welcome to Facing South Florida. In 2007, Miami-Dade County launched their Fireboat program amid great fanfare, declaring it a vital service. And with more than 50,000 boats registered here and miles upon miles of inland waterways, who could argue with that? But today, the county's Fireboat program is dead in the water. The decision may save money, but at what cost? We spent weeks reviewing calls and incidents, calling through records, and interviewing folks both inside and outside the department. Today, we take a close look at this important issue. Miami's appeal has always been in the water, offering a playground like few others. The recent Columbus Day weekend brought out hundreds of boats filled with revelers in all shapes and sizes looking for a good time. But in an instant, these adventures can turn deadly. And who is there to help? And so it was on Labor Day weekend, 2012.
I remember being in the water with my friends and my boyfriend and Josh waving at me, and I took a picture of him.
Dana and her brother Josh were just off Holiver Beach, enjoying the day on a friend's boat.
It's crazy because 10 minutes later, that was it.
Josh Schwabenbauer, an off-duty Lauderhill firefighter, either dove or fell from the boat, breaking his neck on the ocean floor. The ensuing chaos captured by a reality TV crew who happened to be in the water that day.
The clock was ticking and no one was there to help.
An off-duty paramedic rendered CPR and eventually got Josh to shore. 3 days later, he was pronounced dead. Brad and Sharon Schwabenbauer were Josh's parents.
His eyes were still flickering, had some life left in them, but he was pretty much, according to the physicians, not with us anymore.
I feel like I've lost my future.
Josh Schwabenbauer is one of at least 17 people who have died in Miami-Dade waters since the county pulled their fireboats out of service for budget reasons 2 years ago.
My brother deserved a fair chance at living. He didn't get it.
Maybe they could have gotten him breathing and he would not have been brain dead. And, it's kind of sad that no one was there.
So where was the fireboat on that Labor Day weekend? The same place it is today, tied to a dock in the port of Miami. Jack Garcia and Mike Parker both served on the fireboat before the program was abandoned.
When people die on the water, nobody cares.
We were kind of told that the lives that we saved, the people that we helped, really didn't matter.
A review of radio transmissions over the past 2 years show repeated calls for the fireboat. A plane crash off Turkey Point elicited this exchange.
Is the fireboat in service?
Negative to Time 7, there is no fireboat.
And a cabin fire aboard a boat off Matheson Hammock prompted this transmission.
If fireboat doesn't get here to put it out, it's going to sink right where it is. Standing by for the fireboat to get here.
But the fireboat never came. For a program launched with such hope and fanfare, seeing the boat sit idle is hard to stomach for many of its former crew.
There was a tremendous amount of time, effort, money, and development that went into the program that all of a sudden became unimportant.
The 2 fireboats alone cost around $3 million to purchase, and another $800,000 was spent building the dock for the boat. Concern for money seemed secondary when the boats were introduced in 2007. County Commissioner Rebecca Sosa christened Fireboat 1, and the former fire chief, Herminio Lorenzo, explained why the boat was worth the cost in this promotional video produced by the county.
We were lacking the ability to go out and protect people in our waterways. This vessel provides that capability. It's a great asset to have, it's a great tool to have, and it allows us to do our job a lot better.
The fireboat is there not just for recreational boaters, but also to respond to emergencies on cruise ships, vessels working along the Miami River, as well as fires on waterfront properties. While Coast Guard and police vessels patrol the waters, none of them are equipped to fight fires, and none of them are staffed with paramedics and divers. Any doubts about the value of the fireboat were laid to rest in March 2008, when 2 teenagers were trapped below deck of a burning boat in the Miami Beach Marina. The fireboat crew managed to cut a hole in the side of the boat to get them out. Any doubt in your mind that without the fireboat they would have died?
No doubt at all. No doubt at all.
An example of how far the department's capabilities have fallen occurred just a few months ago. In May, a family of 5 had to abandon ship when smoke filled the cabin of their cruiser.
We're going to need a fireboat to get to this. We don't have a fireboat at this time.
Without the fireboat, a private towboat grabbed the burning ship's anchor and dragged the burning vessel to the broad causeway so fire trucks on the bridge could spray water on it. But it's the medical emergencies and rescues where the fireboat's loss is sorely missed. A heart attack aboard a dive boat prompted the Coast Guard to see where the fireboat was.
Okay, Roger, Captain. Are you all underway? What's your ETA?
Negative. We have some engine problems. We're not going to be able to.
The dispatcher made up the engine problem rather than explain they weren't allowed to send the boat anymore.
It's kind of a blur, so I don't really have much memory of the accident itself.
In September, Danielle Press's thigh was torn open by a boat propeller off Key Biscayne. Losing half the blood in her body, she went into shock as a police boat took 20 minutes to reach her and then ferry her to land.
It was a traumatic experience, to say the least.
In another case this year, a boating accident left a small child badly hurt in the Miami Beach Channel behind Mount Sinai Hospital. A passing boater called the Coast Guard.
Confirmed that they have a medical emergency and need paramedics. There's a child with her foot caught in a propeller and possibly losing blood.
The girl's father was struggling to keep the bleeding girl's head above water.
The girl is frightened, and I think they could use a diver.
Members of the Miami Beach Police Marine Unit quickly arrived to help, but they were limited in what they could do.
Hey, would you happen to have a prop wrench on your boat?
For nearly an hour, the girl remained trapped before finally being rescued. Had the fireboat been in service, it would have been on the scene within minutes with the tools needed to free her immediately. Dave Downey has been with the Miami-Dade Fire Rescue Department for 26 years and was picked by Mayor Carlos Jimenez to lead the department last February.
Right now, quite frankly, I don't have the money available to put this unit in service.
It costs about $2.5 million a year to operate and staff the boat year-round, about the same cost as running one fire truck.
They were running calls and they were providing a service, yes.
You have any doubt that they were saving lives?
No doubt at all.
Do you have any doubt that since the fireboat has been taken out of service, that people have died who might have been saved otherwise?
It would be speculation. I don't have any direct knowledge of anything.
I asked Chief Downey about the death of Josh Schwabenbauer.
I agree with you. I can't tell you whether it would have changed the outcome of this tragedy, but the fact of the matter is we didn't have the resource in service.
If somebody out there needs help, they're not going to get it and they're going to die. And it's not going to be brought up and they're just going to say, well, they would have died anyway, or we don't have that service.
Something's got to be done, man. This is crazy. This is infuriating to know that that equipment is bought and paid for and fueled up and simply just sits there tied or in dry dock. It's disgraceful.
Joining me now to see what, if anything, can be done is Miami-Dade County Commissioner Sally Hayman. Commissioner, thank you for coming in. I know you've been an advocate for the fireboat for a long time now, and I know it pained you when these things came out of service. But I got to tell you, I think most of the public doesn't realize it, and most people would say, what's wrong with the county that we can't have one fireboat from the county working on the water?
Jim, I agree with you. I was there seeing the need when I got elected, and we took a confiscated regular boat and retrofitted it to fight coastline fires, especially high-rise. What's great about the fireboat that you didn't cover in your article is you have unlimited water, unlimited pressure on the bay, on the coastline, especially for high-rises. Plus, all our marinas where that may be the only way you can access it. So you're talking lives and property. I saw the need then and invested in it and committed it to the budget. And Northeast Dade has a lot of high-rises, a lot of marinas, and we asked the members of the fire district to continue to stay part of it and support the fireboat, and they did. It's a financial decision, and I fought again this year with only one colleague to support it at the time at the budget hearings, and the response was the people don't want a tax increase on the fire district fee. Something has to give. Over 90-something% of calls are on the land. It's not being properly used.
But I mean, even just accepting that statistic, 90% of calls on the land, meaning 10% of the calls on the water. So you have fire equipment for the land, but you have nothing for that 10% when you get those calls on the water, if those numbers are even accurate. But to me, it seems like if you can't find a way to take it from the fire district fund, and I understand why the taxing issue is a difficult one in Dade County, this does provide a larger service. in the same way that the Venom unit, was taken away from the Miami-Dade Fire Rescue and made on a broader thing, I'm just wondering if either the mayor can show some leadership, if commissioners can show some leadership, and find an alternative way to fund it, either through, I understand that boat registration fees, the money for that already goes to Durham. I don't know why a portion of that couldn't go to the fire, to fund the Fireboat. I don't know if there's a way to work with other municipalities to sort of fund it. It just seems to me that at some point we're going to have a tragedy on the water, and then we're all going to say, geez, I wish we had a Fireboat.
Funny you should say we are going to have a tragedy. We continue to have tragedies on the water. And if you can't put 2 units in, I'm even as much as I had one designated up in North Dade that was funded to go out the cut, put it at the Port of Miami. Even with sequestration, get Homeland Security and the port, which is proprietary, to have it available. Co-call and signal through assist other agencies with City of Miami to cover the river, because we have jurisdiction of the river with the city, and put one back in and get an exception for no wake, so you can hit the coastline, hit the bayside, hit the marinas at any given call, and have one operational. I know within the last couple of weeks, the City of Miami finally put their Fireboat back in service. But I just think that while it's great, and they may, who knows how long they'll be able to keep it in service, I just think this just begs to be a county-provided service. And maybe working with the city, but it just seems a natural fit for the county. And your point is an excellent one. I mean, how many times have we gone to press conferences about how vital the Port of Miami is, how we want not just the cruise ships, but all the cargo containers, that we want to vie for that traffic, and we provide no protection for those important vessels? Let me tell you, your initial coverage was excellent, and hopefully this follow-up will resonate in people crying out and say, protection. If you can identify an accident before it happens, an emergency crisis, so you can prepare for it, then great. But that doesn't happen this way. You need to stand ready. My hope would be that not only a partnership, but look at the fee, because you could extract $5 service fee for safety, security on land, water for your boats. And it could be Miami-Dade. We're under home rule if we get past a no new tax. But the other thing is, it's a crisis situation waiting to happen again. It really begs to have a response. I want to take a commercial break here and continue this conversation. I've got a couple of suggestions too I'd like to make. Go figure. So we'll continue this conversation with this. And a little bit later, are you happy with your taxi cabs? Well, most people aren't. We'll talk about that as well when we come back.